we go. Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic lesson known classics. This is episode number 3175 and Doubleshot number 3069. I have two Marvel trades. First, this one here is the second to last mini-series for this character because there is actually like one more left to go for her. And surprisingly, that's it. You're like, really? Yes, really. Yeah, there's basically about one more left to go with this one. As far as I can tell, there's only one more left to go, unless I missed one. We have Black Widow and the Marvel Girls. Yep. Excuse me, a 4-issue miniseries by Paul Tubman. Which they also include in here, Amazing Summer 86. So I'm curious, why is this issue in here for? Well, this issue in particular is famous for Amazing Spider-Man. Well, in the case of Black Widow, it's more famous for Black Widow than in the case of Spider-Man. This is the issue that debuted the black suit that she's known for wearing over the years, her most iconic costume. Not the fishnet costume. Like if you look at like early parents, she wore fishnet stockings. But after a while, she got tired of it, so she wanted to switch to a completely different attire to make her like Appeal from the Avengers, the British TV Avengers. That's really the whole. My only guess is the reason why Marvel threw this issue in here because they probably felt that I guess someone put this together maybe from the so hey, this feels a little short even with these 4 issues. I know. Let's start Amazing Summer 86 is maybe some people haven't read it. This issue has been collected so many frickin' times. Oh my frickin' god. This one issue is probably by far of the original 100 issues of Amazing Spider-Man, probably the most frequent reprinted issue ever in the history of that series. We have Sylph Espen as issues 1 and 3. Japako Kamagi does issue 2, and Taza Mazawa does issue 4. The cover is by Sylph Espen and Elizabeth Brewster. So, into the issues, we have Tasha Rob team up with a popular female superhero. In the opening issue, she teams up with the Enchantress. I'm like, okay. Another character created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I think of all the character teams up in this book, I think like she's like one of 2 that she teams up with who is a creation of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. The other 2 are not. No. And by the way, all 4 of these issues are all standalone. They're not really connected. It is just a Black Widow team-up series. I am surprised they never called this one Black Widow Team Up. Instead they call it Black Widow the Marvel Girls. And of all 4 of these women, like, here's something really, really weird about these 4 women. Okay, so Storm is featured and has had 2 live-action adaptations. Halle Berry and the version appeared in X Apocalypse, who later appeared in Dark Phoenix. Of course, the Wasp just finally made her live-action appearance in the second Ant-Man, in the second Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Jenna Von Dyne. Surprisingly, the Enchantress has never appeared in live action. Her sister has, in one episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, her sister has, but not the Enchantress. As for why in the world that this is probably far, I think like of all the major Thor characters, she is like the only one today who has never appeared in live action. Everyone else practically has. Heck, Thor's brother, who was the god of war, he appeared in the second movie. Enchantress is as of currently one of 2 major Thor characters who have actually 3. I can think of 3 major Thor characters who've never appeared in live action. Their 2 are Beta Ray Bill and Bold the Brave. Everyone else practically has appeared. The Warriors 3, Loki, Odin, practically almost everybody. You would think that Marvel might be running out of Thor characters, but they practically throw almost all the major ones. So yeah, the Enchantress basically just Well, basically we have where Black Widow's beating up some people. My guess is the reason why Marvel releases in 2010 because of Iron Man 2. So let's throw in a bunch of Black Widow stuff. And we see it look like remember when she first came to the Red Room, and then apparently a more witnessed her escaping the Red Room, and this is basically her taking some random people. And eventually, like halfway to the issue, she does finally run into Amora when she's a little girl. So apparently, Black Widow, it's revealed in this issue that Amora, the Enchantress, met Black Widow when she was much younger. That was kind of implied here. If you're really curious, they take, but mostly, but she's taking out some dictator. And those of you curious though, does the Enchantress ever encounter Black Widow in present day? Nope. So in the second issue, she's taking on Doctor Doom. Well, at least this one basically opens up with her team with Jenna Von Dyne, the Wasp, the only other character in the book she's in, but who was a creation of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Yes. Now, unlike the Enchantress, which that was a weird choice, Janet makes sense because these two are longtime Avengers. Yes. But you know the weird thing about Janet is, up until very recently, Janet has never had an actual book of her own. Nope. She's mostly been a supporting character in Hank Pym stories, or she's been just been a regular Avenger, or a guest appearance in people's books. The first time she ever got her own series was when Marvel celebrated 50 years. Actually, like 60 years since her debut appearance in the Wasp miniseries by Al Ewing. That is the first and currently only time that she's ever had a book. Her stepdaughter's had an ongoing series, yes, but not Jenna Von Dyne. Nope. So, and of course, you see a pre-appearance here by a past version of the Avengers, where it's comprised of Black Panther, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, and Thor. I say past versions because I think at the time this came out, Vision was not on the Avengers. I think he was dead when these issues came out, so I'm assuming this is a flashback. So I'm assuming this is a flashback issue with like a little team adventure. And then apparently they go to the present day, we hang out at some bar, they fly an airplane. Really fun issue. Issue 3 teams up with their first non-Stan Lee Jack Kirby character, that being the Carol Danvers Ms. Marvel, who is currently Captain Marvel in the Marvel Comic Universe. Now, me personally, I've always loved this costume for Carol. I do like the fact currently she's finally, her outfit was finally updated, allow her to show off her arms again, because I kind of think this also when she got her full bodysuit. If you look at Carol Danvers currently, like when she first got a bodysuit back in 2012 when she became Captain Marvel, it seems like she lost some muscle mass for some weird reason. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Oh, in case you're curious who created Carol Danvers? Roy Thomas. So yeah, they have their team together. Here's the weird thing, though. I've heard some people still refer to Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel, despite the fact she's currently Captain Marvel. And I've also heard them refer to Monica Marvel as the true Captain Marvel, despite the fact Monica was not the original Captain Marvel. That was Marvel. Yes. In case you're curious, though, is there some characters who changed their code name where I've heard them by the original code name? Yes. Spider-Gwen. I refer to Spider-Gwen and Spider-Woman. I'm not calling her Ghost Spider. I think that's really dumb. So, yeah, we have Black Widow and some Nazi bunker because it relates to Red Skull. And, well, it's a very fun issue. And they get along together fine. And the last issue teams up with a creation by Lean Ween. Now, of course, somebody, I think it was Think Critical, thought this was a creation of Marv Wolfman. Yes, believe it or not, Thinking Critical thought Storm was a creation of Marv Wolfman. That is incorrect. Marv Wolfman had nothing to do with the creation of Storm. This was Lean Ween, the same guy who created Wolverine. Yeah. Though for some reason, for Storm, we have her wearing her original costume from the 70s in this book. Not sure why they decided to have wear this outfit for. Despite on the cover, it looks like she's wearing her current costume. This, I think, is a little weird. Excuse me. This costume here. Yeah, this costume made his debut around, I think it was 04, I think it was, during Chris Claremont's third and, as of currently, final run on Uncanny X-Men. But they had her wear this costume for some reason. At least in the case of the Wasp, I think at the time this came out, she was currently dead, but at least she was wearing the costume she was wearing before she passed away, which is nice. Actually, it was like 2008, I think it was. Yes, she died in 2008. But this is the only outfit I've seen where the outfit does not match the cover. And this is really weird, though. So, you just have a team what to do with the Morlocks, and we see, like, with these. Oh, it's not Morlock. It's the Mole Man. Yes, the frickin' Mole Man. Which, well, there is a Stanley Jack Kirby character right there. Mole Man. Yep. So they work together to get these creatures associated with Mole Man back down on the ground. Yeah, it was like you're beneath yeah. You are the Blackwood. You are Storm. It's very nice, and then there's a rain, and it's a very interesting issue per se, and that's it. And there's technically one more miniseries of the go for Black Widow, White Widow, featuring Lena. I give this book here a 8.5 out of 10. Next up is a book that's uber popular. That people love this book. Out of the entire line currently, the Ultimate Universe line, this is by far the best comic. And for some people, this is the true Spider-Man. Given the fact that the writer of this book actually did something that the editors of Marvel Comics refused to do. We'll talk about it. We have Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman, Volume 1. Collecting the first 6 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man, Volume 3. Yes, completing the universe here. Written by Jonathan Hickman, of course. Art by Marco Chidito does 1 through 3 and 6, and Dave Messina does 1 through 4 through 5. This actually is one of several comics in this line, along with Ultra Black Panther, Ultimate Wolverine, we just recently started up, The Ultimates, and Ultimate X-Men. 5 titles. You know what's one missing from this line? Fantastic Four. Yeah, surprisingly, there was no Ultimate Fantastic Four title, which is weird. It's like, what is up with Marvel when it comes to the Ultimate version of Fantastic Four that they just don't like using them for some reason? Well, we start with Peter as a much older guy, and he's getting ready for work, and he's married. Something Marvel editors refuse to allow him to do, to Mary Jane Watson, because he's married to Mary Jane Watson here, and he has 2 kids. Something Marvel editors still refuse to allow him to have kids. It's like some Marvel editors still think it's still 1970s, despite the fact it's not. Yeah, my friend Tivia, he loves this book. It's probably far currently his favorite comic right now. This along with maybe Superman. He loves this book. He loves Superman. He loves action comics. Yeah. Yeah, Peter, much older Peter. And look, he's married to Mary Jane Watson. Something which, I keep bringing this up here. It's like, Seeing this here is, from a reader's perspective, this is Hickman saying, screw one more day, they're married in this universe. Because all readers can agree, one more day was stupid. Yep, so then we have just their two kids, their daughter playing a cute little girl. And then we have Jameson yelling for Parker. Except that it's not Peter he's yelling for. Okay, so this is the alternate universe. Now, the name of the universe is Universe 6160. Yep. So the Parker he's yelling for is Ben Parker, who is the editor. Then you're thinking, wait a minute. Isn't Ben Parker dead? Not in this universe. Nope, he's perfectly fine. He's the managing editor. Because normally when Jameson yells for Parker, usually means Peter Parker, not usually Ben. By the way, in 616, even the original universe, Jameson never met Ben Parker. Never did. And here, basically, he's kind of like the boss. Also, Peter's got a beard. And at this point, he's not Spider-Man. Yep, just older guy. Chats with Ben Parker. No Aunt May here. I think she may have passed away. And then we see Harry here, who later becomes the universe Green Goblin. And he's a good guy. Not a bad guy. A good guy. Okay. Yeah, pretty much in the way, it's not like the original universe, where it's basically just whatever Bendis and cohorts are up to. Mostly put, this is kind of like an alternate version of 616 that was heavily altered by the maker. And the weird thing is, this book has nothing to do with the maker at all. No, not really. I don't really know why. The maker himself has nothing to do with this book at all. I think in the amount of issue release, I think he makes an appearance like once or twice. He has not played a role in this book at all. Nope. In a way, this is Hickman saying, basically, you guys handle the makers. I'm basically doing a true Spider-Man story here. So, and then we having look like Norman Chicken Hands Ben Parker, somebody who you also never met in the regular universe. So then, of course, comes back in. Of course, Jameson quits. And of course, Ben's like, go to desk, Peter. Keep it down. We'll catch you later. And he's like, did I miss something? And apparently, get this. The Bugle is owned by the Kingpin. Yep, the Kingpin. Here changes. It's like, I'm 2 weeks maxing out my pensions. Like, about to retire. Yep, and shows the fact, yeah, Kingpin's in charge. It's like, I do like the fact that Ben Parker gets to interact with characters he never interacted with any years before. Especially the Kingpin. Never met the guy. Excuse me. So basically, Ben's like sharing an elevator with Jameson's like we do now. And there's a crash. And of course, Green Goblin's in the scene. They must go out drinking because they're friends. Yeah. Of course, you get a job's like, yeah. By the way, get your curious. It's called to Spider. Where is it? Why is he swinging his fireman suit? Well, he doesn't get to the next issue. He feels like he's missing something. And, oh, by the way, in this universe, the reason why at this point he's not Spider-Man, because, get this, the Maker took the spider from Peter before he bit him. And then, of course, Peter gets the mysterious package from Tony Stark. Yes. Who, in this universe, is Iron Lad. He never became Iron Man because of the events of the Ultimate Universe. His father was Iron Man. So, by the way, Tony is younger than Peter in this universe, which, that's different. Because, in every universe, Tony's always older than Peter. So he gets him the spider again, he gets his powers. They put on the black costume at the end of issue 1, excuse me. And he springs out here in a version of the black suit, not the symbiote. Yeah, Peter goes off swinging. And then we have a weird scene. We have Jameson and Ben Parker hang out in a Russian-Turkish bat chatting about business. And of course, then he meets up with his first bad guy. Apparently, this universe version of Shocker. Yes, this guy here apparently is Shocker. I'm sure Hickman remembers Ultimate Spider-Man, where apparently like the first thug that he thought was Shocker, and here he is. So ends up finding him. Of course, it reminds me of his face. Then of course, oh boy. There's that guy. Of course, his daughter explains to his daughter. Of course, she accepted no problem. Kingpin doesn't really know. Kingpin doesn't know about Spider-Man. Basically, it's like he doesn't know what to do right now. We see this bald guy with an eye patch. Who this guy is? Don't know. Yeah, then of course you have Spider-Man taking on Shocker, and then Green Goblin is watching. Yeah, this guy is Green Goblin. Yep, that's Green Goblin. And of course Peter goes home like, Dan, I drew a picture of your spider. Hope you like it. Yes, May. One thing this book is not explained yet. Where in the world is May Parker? Is she dead? Don't know. Oh, by the way, his son's name is Richard. Named after his grandfather, Richard Parker. And I'm sure their daughter is named after... Well, I don't think she's named after Mayday Parker from MC2. No, she's named after probably Peter's Aunt May. So... And then we have, costume changes. Alternate costume. One looks like a version from Shattered Dimensions. One looks like the Scarlet Spider with different colors. One looks like a version of, I think it was Spider-Armor, and then the other one looks similar to the one he's known for. And then by the end of the issue, he puts on the red and blue. And of course, he started a new business here. Go to new HQ, new place. So basically, yeah, they still have their own base operations, their own business. What the business is, don't know. And then, of course, Green Goblin sends all his pumpkin bombs out. And then we see this universe version of Bullseye. Yep. And then, of course, you have Spider-Man fighting Bullseye, which, if you're really going to ask, did Spider-Man ever fight Bullseye in 616? Yes, he did. A few times, but mostly put, he's known for being the crap out of... He's known for basically getting beaten by Daredevil and Elektra. And came out, and of course, they worked together. Well, actually, they really just their name I'm Harry, I'm Peter. And they worked together. And of course, they get a drink. Yep. And this is how basically Peter meets Harry Osborn, because in the regular universe, they first met in college. In other universes, they met in high school. Here, they met when they were adults. And then we see Gwen Stacy. Which, this is interesting. Because Peter first met Gwen in 616 in college. Where the way it was written is that she was chasing after him. And eventually they did have a relationship last for a while. Until she died. But in case you're curious though, did Gwen ever develop interest in Harry? One universe where Gwen developed interest in Harry. The Spectacular Spider-Man TV show. Yep, so no throw out the bridge here with Norman. And of course you have basically where you have Ben Parker talking to his awesome great niece. Uncle Ben, yes dear. Is he going to be leaving soon? Yep, and they all chat for a bit. That's like Mr. Jameson. Come on. Okay. Okay, for some weird reason, my phone decided to reboot itself for some weird reason. So give it a minute here. I have no idea what the heck happened. It just randomly decided to reboot. Despite the fact it's plugged in charged, yeah, it just by pure randomness decided to reboot itself. Don't know why, but it did. So give me in here. Excuse me. Oh, in case you're curious though, is there a universe where... Now, by the way, this is sort of a reverse of MC2 where in that universe, Peter's daughter came first and his son. Here, it's son came first and daughter. So I would say it's a sort of a small little nod to that universe. Okay. Finally come back up here. There we go. And by the way, would I reviewing the other books? Yep. Yes, I will. So, picking left off, picking now front or back where we left off here. Excuse me. So then Ben and Richard go from their room, the little chat. Then we have MJ and Gwen just having their girl talk here. Then Harry and Peter try to formalize basically a partnership of those two working together. And then here's something. Harry is the one who says the famous quote, "With great power comes great responsibility." Despite the fact in most universes, it would have been Parker who said that. I'm glad they included it here, but why did they have Harry say it? Why not have Ben say it? Because it just doesn't make any sense here. Because they got you, and then... And of course, there's a party at the Osborne House, and all of a sudden, a building is fired upon. Being destroyed. And supposedly Norman died, but don't really confirm what exactly happened. And then apparently, like, he has this piece. He goes to his club, shows it off, gets patted down, and apparently this was an invitation by the Kingpin to have a conversation. He was the fifth entrepreneur. Everyone knows this. What they don't? The Kingpin of Manhattan. Yep. Yep. And then we see apparently like it looks like a something inside this vault where it's a bunch of Iron Man armors. One of whom happens to be the armor from the Ultra Universe. I did not expect to see that here, but yeah, that is the armor from the Ultra Universe, Ultra Iron Man armor. I'm like, this is interesting. It looks like they broke into the army of Tony Stark. Also in this universe, Stark and Stain merged, and they're kind of one company. That kind of explains the army he has. And then we see Spider-Man fighting the Shocker again. Yep. I mean, who's this guy with the scars? Is this Nick Fury? No. And then we see Peter's beaten up, of course, by thugs. Like, they used to be. Oop. Yep. Certainly, Mary Jane does not know him being a superhero. So they work together too, and then they break into Kingpin's office. Like, oh, a company! What a surprise! Can't you see how surprised I am? And the Kingpin just takes out a glass of whiskey. It's like, you gentlemen thirsty for bringing out my window? He's like, dude, it's a trap. Yep. And Spider-Man was on his face. It's like, yep. Then he gets blasted. Apparently, the underneath shirt is actually the same tattoo the guy with the mark had. And of course, he explains to his wife and his son basically what he'd be a superhero. But his daughter's the only friend. She ain't telling anybody. Well, she's going to keep it a secret. And his family says he's going to be a superhero. So then he puts in the costume that he look like nanites. And then we have MJ and Peter swinging the city together. And that's the book in a nutshell. Really good here. Really good. I give Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1, Married with Children, which that's also the name of a TV show. Yes. I give this book here a 10 out of 10. Yep, so that's pretty much a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I'm going to rest my voice for a bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and do 2 more comic corners. Okay? Still, bye.